Hello, everyone. I'm Roberto Guerra. For those of you who do not know me, I'm the managing partner of Singular Foods, and I also work helping companies in the plant-based and vegan food sector. So, today we're going to be talking with Dr. Francesca Zampollo of Italy. Hello, Francesca. Nice to see you.
Hi there.
She's a renowned expert in food design and the author of Food Design Thinking Methodology. And we're also here with Cynthia Fontana. Hi, Cynthia.
Hi.
She is the founder and creative director at Amo Food Design, and she's also a highly experienced expert in this area, which the topic is food design. So welcome, Francesca. And Cynthia, great to see you. So I will go ahead and depart, and I will let you two go ahead and take the stage and have an interesting conversation on the topic of food design, on all things related to food design. So go ahead.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Francesca.
Ciao, Cinzia. How are you? It's so weird that we have to speak English and we are both Italian.
I know.
Even though
this is life, isn't it?
Exactly. Geographically located in different places, but
Yeah, exactly. But this is, it's fun. It's okay.
So,
can yes.
You go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, can I introduce you a little bit more? Because
we are reading each other's mind.
Yes. I have a feeling that everyone is looking at us, knows you for sure.
Or not.
Because,
maybe
yes,
not.
Yes, definitely. Because you're very famous and definitely everyone knows you. Yes. And well, just to introduce you a little bit more for maybe who doesn't know you, but I don't trust that. You are a food designer, and you are a food design thinking researcher as well. And of course, you're a consultant, you're a teacher, and you, most importantly for me, I'm sorry, but this is for me, like, you are the founder and the chair of inspiration of the online School of Food Design, which is... sorry, but I have to say it, which is amazing, because I think is a great place to go to have all the inspiration and all the information about food design. And it's really an amazing project. So I really love it. And I know you love pizza. That's because we are Italian.
Yeah, I think I have some genes in me that are probably very much Italian, but that make me even more stereotypically Italian, and I have this just love for pizza. It's just I don't know how to explain it really, but yeah, I do. It's like a big part of my life. It's something that I think about very often.
Yeah.
And Cinzia here, on the other hand, besides being a spectacular human being that hopefully more and more of you will get to know of, is a food designer herself. She's born like a chemist, a graphic and communication designer. So that was her path to this discipline. And as was said before, she's the founder of Amo Food Design Studio. Look it up. Follow her on Instagram. It's Amo Food Design, isn't it? Yeah.
Amo Food Lab, yeah.
The focus of her interest and her impact is sustainability, biomaterials, and food experiences. And this is what she brings to her collaborations with clients and partners, etc. And how did we meet, Cinzia? I don't even know. We met virtually for the longest time only.
Yes, definitely.
Through whatever the work there we were doing, and we connected, and we exchanged thoughts and ideas, etc. And we met for the first time after years again, only last summer at the food design conference festival organized by a Singular Food Lab again. So it's awesome that they bring us here together again.
Yeah, that was amazing. First time we met in person was in Madrid. So we were two Italian, one from UK, one from Italy, and we were in Madrid, and we were talking in English, Italian, sometimes a little bit of Spain. So it was quite fun.
So I think I would like to ask you, we have like one question for one another, which I think is the topic around which we want this conversation to revolve. But I think I want to ask this question to you first, because to me, your answer is way more, your path, the path that your answer will give is way more interesting than mine. So, and also possibly it's more common. It's shared with many more people. So how did you start? How was your interest in food design? What was your path towards food design?
So for design, well, it's I started quite a long time ago, to be fair. But the interesting thing for me is that I started to work in food design when food design term was not even a word. I mean, it was not put together. So I started in 2005, around 2006, and I did one of the, I would say pioneeristic, just because the word was not there when I started, to create something with wine and the tasting, and it was a multimedia experience. So I was talking about five senses already, and the multimedia experience that you can try to have on without having just the wine, but with some other elements, including the tasting. And that was for me the starter, and it was love at the first sight for sure. So I started there, and I thought this is an amazing kind of field of design. So I followed the path, and then I did some courses as well about food design on the secondary school in Florence. And after that,
you taught courses or you took courses?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. I create the courses. So I create courses.
At this time, the word food design was out.
I'm not really sure. No. It was not very famous. So it was, I think it was already in the air, but it was not something that we were talking about. So very early stages, I would say.
So this is about 20 years ago.
Pretty much, yes, exactly. And when I created the course where I started to talk about senses and food and the way you perceive the food, that was around 2009, if I remember well. So the conversation was started at that point, but it was not a huge conversation about food design. So that was, my kind of way. Then after that, I did a lot of other kind of experiences with graphic and communication. And I came back again with food design completely and entirely because, of course, it's definitely my passion. And I realized that, yes, that's what I would like to do. So I came back with this field, and I'm so glad that I did. And then, well, after that, we met, and, everything is now, basically, nowadays.
Awesome. Wonderful.
And I'm going to ask you the same question, because I'm very curious to know, how did you start?
So my first degree is in industrial design. So this is about 20 years ago. And the first time I heard the term food design, or actually read the term food design, happened when I read the title of a workshop, an elective workshop that we were, that I chose to take during my bachelor degree. So this workshop was called Food Design, and I was studying industrial design in Turin. This is just, I also always want to highlight this. So we were designing washing machines and air conditioners, etc. And so we had this. I chose to do this workshop because it had the least boring name. You had to choose between a few. And I went in, and the first day there was this chef dressed like a chef who came in and talked to us about designing food, and he was a chef. And so suddenly this to me made total sense, that you could design with the material as opposed to wood, plastic, steel, etc., that doesn't last, that disappears, a material that grows from the earth, and you modify a little bit, and then people take it into their body, and all of this. So that's how I discovered the word food design. And again, this was about 20 years ago. And that's it. I mean, for me, it was done. Since then, every project that I could turn into a food design project, I did. And then my master, I pursued that. And my PhD, I pursued that. And then I ended up teaching that. And so then I'm here. So it's like so linear, possibly so boring. And that's why, to me, your story is more interesting, because you've done a whole bunch of things, and then you look back and say, hey, I was doing food design all along.
No, I know. I did chemistry as well before. I did plenty of research and development, and it was so fun. And actually, that was guiding me. I actually was leading me towards design. So that was my first passion. And then I went towards design. And then when I discovered design, I discovered food design. So it's one piece after another. So it's pretty much like your kind of path. It's just, mine is breaking in different pieces, and yours is more linear, but yes.
So there was one, let's say, outcome specifically of your creative abilities within food design. Actually, one creative outcome for you that from the outside looked like a pivotal moment of your career, but maybe it's really not. And that outcome is also stereotypically Italian. Do you want to talk about how you got there and what you have to say about that, and the approach that you took to this common, in a way, outcome, common type of product, but how you looked at it and how you transformed it, how you thought about it?
We're talking about pasta, are we? Okay.
If it's not pizza, it has to be.
It's not pizza, it's pasta. So it is actually, it started at a precise moment of my life, and that's true. And it happened that it was during the COVID time, and we all experienced that situation like a couple of years ago, and it was quite frustrating for all of us, I bet. And for me, I was living in UK. I'm still living in UK now, but at that time I wasn't able to travel in Italy, so there was this huge gap between me and my family, and me and my tradition, and of course the food as well. So what I do, I started to feel,
and there was time.
And there was time, exactly, a lot of time, because of course everything was suspended. So we were in a huge bowl, and we didn't know what was happening after. So it was really a certain time of our life for all of us, I think, to try maybe and discover something different. So what I did was I was feeling very frustrated about the fact that I wasn't able to come back to Italy for quite a long time, and I missed so much my family and my tradition. And what I missed the most was the fact that when I was in Italy, I always had fresh pasta with my mom and with my family, and that was like a tradition for me. So I missed that, and I started to do pasta by myself. And I thought, you know what, if I cannot go to Italy, then Italy can come to me. So I did pasta. But of course, as soon as I started to make pasta, the food design kind of switch I had in my mind was, okay, this is nice, but we can add a little bit
Let's
more.
uh, let's
Exactly.
take it to the
Let's take
next level.
exactly. Let's take it to the next level. So the next
As a
level
designer,
was,
could only that's what a designer has to do.
design thinking. This is what you teach about, and you taught that to all of us. So basically, yes, I took the pasta and I thought, let's put some design thinking there. And then I added colors and I added shapes, of course. But of course, everything was sustainable and everything was natural and it was coming from very local kind of sources. And then something happened, and I thought, you know what, this can be like a branded pasta. So you can use the pasta to create like a brand product for any kind of companies. And this is what I started to do. So basically, I started to create pasta that looks like a brand company. So it can be color, it can be the brand, the logo for the company. And most of the time, it was like a filled pasta. So inside of the pasta, like a ravioli. And then the project start again to expand, because if you're filling the pasta, you have to choose what you put inside, and that can be contrasting the color from the outside, or maybe, so you start to build all the time different kind of things. And sooner they come up again another thing, that basically if you have to design pasta, then you have to design the shape of the pasta that will work if you have to properly create a new type of pasta. And so I started to think about the model that you can create for the pasta and these kind of things. And so now I'm doing exactly that. So I'm creating molds to create a new shape of pasta, which is quite a challenge, because just to say that Philip Stark tried to do this a very long time ago, and it was quite a disaster. I'm sorry to say that. But it was not the only one. There was a couple of designers, very famous designers, they tried, and the pasta was very nice, but it was not working properly when you cook the pasta. So pasta is very fascinating for me, just because it has got plenty of, aspect that you have to think about when you create pasta. And that was, I would say, just in that time for me, the chance to explore something that probably I would never explored if we were in that situation. And it was really fun.
What do you think pasta had taught you about design that you didn't know before?
Definitely that you can create something with materials that you never thought about. For example, pasta. Pasta is very, it's a malleable kind of product, so you can do whatever you like. That's the beauty of the pasta. It's like working with clay. It's exactly the same thing. You can create any shape you like. Of course, you have to think about that it has to be cooked, and when you cook the pasta still have the same shape pretty much. This happened with the clay very often, but pasta, of course, it becomes more soft, so it will collapse if the shape is not right. And it definitely taught me about the fact that you can work with different material that you never thought before, and you can create different projects as well, and things that you never thought before as well. And you can try to express yourself through this kind of um, product, basically. And it is going to be fun, amazing, and and plenty of people will follow you and discover with you this journey. This is the best of it.
Love it. Do you think this was a pivotal moment in your career?
I think it was, because I started to realize again the love of design, to be fair, because sometimes, designers, I don't know if that happened to you, maybe it can be another question, but sometimes we have time in our life as a creative person where creativity maybe goes down and then goes up. And I probably had a little bit of down moment before that. And pasta helped me to, rebuild the confidence in design in my mind as well. And in whatever you can do as a creative person, basically.
I think it's, well, you made, business out of it, but for somebody to use pasta just a means to experiment with creativity. That
Yeah.
is brilliant. It's cheap. You can eat it afterwards. You can have the pleasure of consuming what you've actually designed. You can invite people over, which is the most fun part most often. So
Yeah, we had a lot of friends coming over actually during that time when we were allowed, because of course I was creating pasta. And yeah, let's come try
you're
and pasta.
inviting people every week.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with all this pasta?
Yeah. So,
Awesome.
and can I ask you the same question, because I think it would be very interesting to know about what was your maybe pivot kind of moment in your career, in your design food career as well.
Um, hmm. In my career in general, or with regard to food design specifically?
I would say in your career in general, but maybe you want to put in the info design.
Um, uh, See how boring
Well,
and linear.
no, it's not. It's not absolutely. Well, I have a feeling that when you started the school, it was quite an important
Yeah.
moment in your career for sure.
That more or less was actually what I was thinking, and it's because I was thinking about it in terms of my career in general, but it's actually with regards to food design as well. There was this moment when, after having given myself for a few years to academia full time, so after a few years of full time teaching and researching, as a senior lecturer, as a just a traditional academic position, I felt the need that I felt the need to explore a little bit more a work structure that was more ideal for me. Work, I mean, like in terms of creative output, in terms of realizing that I'm a human being, I can do something, I have needs of creating something. Where do I actually want to direct this? Do I want to direct this creativity within academia or somewhere else? For me, at that moment, it was somewhere else. And actually, the first, the result, I guess, of that big shift, after having studied so many years, why do you bother doing a PhD if not to work in academia? So after this, this shift, the first thing that came out was this need of creating a platform, a structure, something that could allow people interested in approaching food design with a smaller budget and less time than what academia would ask, because there were and there are many people who want to learn more about food design, and usually these are people who come either from just design or just food, and they want to feel a bit more comfortable in approaching the discipline, but cannot or do not want to invest the time and money that a master or a new bachelor degree requires. Plus, I'm seeing that many people who approach food design today are having other careers. And suddenly, these creative beings inside of them is shouting and say, hey, let's do something, I want to have fun. And very often it is food design, because for food is for many people a passion, and we are all creative beings. So it's just a beautiful
connection.
easy connection to do. So I think that creating the school, the online school of food design, was quite important, very scary. Not at the moment, it wasn't scary. Now looking back, I look at myself and I say, okay, I did that. I really,
Yes, you did.
I did that, and I, what's the word? I risked financial security to do that. So that was good. And it was great. Actually, it was a great decision for sure. I love it. I love the work in it and what it allows me to do in terms of having the possibility of bringing out my own creative output and sharing with people, and what the school is doing right now, so to allow other people to share their own creative output. isn't it? So we just
I
had
imagine
a
this.
we just released a couple of weeks ago a course creator challenge, and the challenge the deadline for application expired 2 days ago, and Cinzia has applied. So I don't know yet who the selected people might be, but maybe there will be a course about pasta.
Yeah, well, you never know. You never
know
know.
what. You never know.
Yeah, you have to check on online school design.
Design.org. Yes.
Yes, definitely. That's the best place to check. But let me just say, Francesca, that I have a feeling that what you did with the design thinking is, for me, is an amazing kind of achievement, because you took the design thinking that we usually have for any kind of design approach in any product and in any kind of project in design we do, and you specifically managed to put this one for food. And this for me is, wow, that's impressive, because of course it's different. I mean, it's the same kind of approach because it's design thinking, yes,
Based
but
on
it's very
principles.
specific. Exactly, but it's very specific, and it helps us so much to understand what the next step would be to create something amazing. And that's well, thank to you, Francesca, really, because this was impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That also
it's a I think this is a tools that everyone is using, and thanks to your school and thanks to all your thought, that's something that everyone now around food design or food area, whatever is the area they like to try and enjoy, they can use these kind of tools to create something they maybe will enjoy a little bit more, and they will be more satisfied with the result as well.
Yeah, and I think what I like about it is the same feeling that came from creating the school. I just wanted stuff to be accessible to people, right? And food design thinking was my answer to this need of making designing accessible to anybody, because I'm one of the people who think that you don't need to be a designer to do design. You don't need to be a food designer, whatever it means. Maybe having a piece of paper that says you have studied food design to be a food designer. And you need to have a creative process. You need to have a step by step, and you look at it and say, okay, now I know what I have to do, especially for all of those people who come to food design without a design background, right?
Yeah.
So that's what food design thinking does. It just gives you, now do this, then do the other thing, and then do the other thing, and voila, you design something in the end, easy peasy.
So can I just say, because I have a background in a different kind of fields, which can be, communication, graphics, and chemistry, whatever it is, the food design network and the food design area for me is the most democratic place I have ever been. So where people really talk about the passion and the way to do things better, rather than just showing up and do this and do that. No, it's completely different, and I love this. So this is, I think, about the community of the food designer around the world, and I think that is a huge achievement as well. And probably it comes from whatever happened in the last 20 years, where people were trying to share the knowledge of this new discipline, basically. But I really love it. It's it's a huge part of it.
True. I love it. It's true. I think this is about all the time that we have, isn't it?
I have a feeling, yes, we already finished our time.
We should continue somewhere else at some point. Hi, Roberto.
So, hello. Good to see you again. So good. So how did it go? You were both speaking in English to each other. Seems like you had a good time. It's like everybody had a good time. Maybe you'll speak to each other in English more often now.
I know, yeah. Next time we would talk again in English, Francesca, even if we talk to each other.
Great. So thank you so much, Cynthia and Francesca, for all your insights. And I hope our audience enjoyed it. And if you're watching later, you'll enjoy it. So thank you all. And for all of those of you who tuned in, thank you. And stay tuned for our next Open Talks. Did you have any closing remarks, Francesca or Cynthia? Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
I just wanted maybe to remind people that if they have questions, even when they watch this later on, Please, absolutely feel free to connect on Instagram. I think is the easiest thing for both of us. Cinzia, you find her with Amo Food Lab, right?
Thank you.
Amo_Food
Food.
Lab.
Yeah, that's
And
correct.
myself, you find me with my name. So please share your questions, and just write just to say hi. We'll be happy.
Very happy. Yes.
For that as well. Because as
And
we were saying, this is such a tight community and such beautiful thing that we have, technological means to just connect, to just, shake virtual hands and just, talk.
yeah, definitely. That's a great thing about food design as well. And sorry, I just want to say thank you, Roberto, and Singular Food as well, to invite us for this talk.
Yes.
You're welcome, and thank you. So have a good evening, or wherever you are in the world, morning, afternoon, anything.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.